Pretty good wall set up for Rockwall around the left side, and a good return. The Yellow Jackets will take over 1st and 10 at the 44.
And it looks like it's going to be Brian McCormick, the up man, who made the nice return to set Rockwall up in good shape at their own 40-yard line.
Dan, I think one of the things that was interesting about that last touchdown pass was we take a look at the ensuing kickoff here. Pretty good wall set up, as you can see, by Rockwall on that left side.
Yeah, but McCormick did a good job. Once he got to the wall, he had to cut it back against the flow. Did a good job picking up extra yardage.
We'll get to that point in just a moment. I formation, 1st and 10. That's Burleson with the big yardage. Again, though, that swarming defense takes over, and you're going to get hit by about 4 or 5 guys. Quentin Tazzino was the first one to pop through. The point on that touchdown pass, Dan, is the fact that we have mentioned the breeze, the wind, that it's blowing against West Orange Stark. He laid that ball up perfect, and it didn't seem to have any effect whatsoever.
Very good point, Brian. I think a lot of it had to do, he took a little bit of his arc off the pass, it looked like, to get it there on a timing pattern.
6 yards for Burleson. 2nd down and 4 now for the Yellow Jackets at the 45-yard line. Split backfield behind Holland. Handoff is to Burleson again, picks his way through the hole. Tazzino finally wrestles him down in West Orange Stark territory. A flag comes down, and that could mean face mask.
Nice pickup that time. And it is going to be a face mask, apparently. Of course, that'll tack on 15 more to the end of the play.
Depending, of course, on
whether it was intentional or not intentional.
Exactly. Good job by Burleson, Dan, of picking his way.
See, what happens, though, is Gaffney, the linebacker, is so excited to get to the hole. He gets there, and he gets caught in the block and opens things up that time for the big gainer. And it is going to be unintentional face mask, so that's only 5 instead of 15.
But still, it's a 1st and 10 for Rockwall at the 38-yard line. I formation now behind Holland. That is Burleson deep. He gets the football. Nothing doing this time. Forget about it. Excellent defensive stand by Marcus Hebert. He snipped that one out perfect and knocked him down as we take a look at it from ground level.
Devron Temple, the junior linebacker, does a good job getting to the ball as well. There's the initial hit. Then comes Temple and shuts things down.
What a great shot coming at you that time. Burleson, you could almost see his eyes and find out what he was thinking about down there. 2nd down and 10 for Rockwall. They split it in the backfield. Receivers on both sides wide as Holland goes back to pass. He's checked by Gans. Donovan Gans in there, and he registers the sack. Already leads the team in that department.
Great play by Gans, but what really sets it up, although Gans did a terrific job, the linebackers showed blitz that time, and on the offensive line, if you're down there in the middle, you're thinking, okay, I've got to switch off and pick up this linebacker, and what happens is you open things up for the down man. Watch the linebackers. They're showing blitz. Then comes Gans. Sneaks up from the backside and buries him. What a job by Gans, who has 11, make it 12 sacks now to his credit for the season.
That is a ton in high school football. A loss of 7 yards, a timeout on the field as West Orange Stark and Rockwall talk about it here. 1:47 left in the half, and this obviously, Dan, is a very key play for this Yellow Jacket squad.
That's what I was going to mention, Brian. You think how key that sack was. Now you're facing a 3rd and 15. Which makes a lot of difference. You know, you don't have the option really to run the football unless you're going to try to run some kind of a delay. And it puts you in a situation where everybody knows you're going to pass. Linemen are going to tee off. They're coming hard. Your secondary guys are going to stick like glue if they possibly can to the receivers. So as an offensive team, you've got to say, okay, we're going to settle for a short one and hope we can pick it up at the end of the play. Or we're either going to try to go long, one or the other, or maybe we will draw and hope that everybody's coming hard.
We'll add to that that West Orange Stark gives up but 49 yards a game through the air with those 2 All-State candidates in the secondary, but Holland's going to try it anyway. The short one, and there was also a receiver, Walker, a little bit further back. Neither one of them can come up with it in a punting situation now for Rockwall.
Good job that time by Jimmy Knox, the safety, a junior, 165. He stuck with his man. When he made the turn for the ball, Knox was there. Really, nobody was open on the play.
Almost looked like a pick play there for a second. Had that receiver not turned around and done the button hook, had he come across, it might have been a pick play. But that was an awful good offensive setup as well. But you mentioned an excellent defensive play. Kevin Kaufman in to punt it away. And this one, line drive, headed for the end zone. Will it get there? No.
Oh.
Excellent job by Chad Gormley to smother that thing at the 2-yard line.
Rockwall fans on their feet. They wanted to see that one. And we talked about the weather playing a role in the beginning of the game. We said footing would be bad. We talked about sliding around, wet balls. But we didn't talk about what it does on the kicking game. And when you get a bounce and it bounces at a puddle, it dead rolls. It's not going to go any further. That's what happened on the punt. Big break for Rockwall as they now put West Orange Stark in the hole. They want to hold them there, hope that they can get maybe one more possession before the half is out with 1:32 left to go.
Marked it now at the 3-yard line. Tremaine Lewis comes to the line of scrimmage. A minute and a half left, and Lewis takes the sneak, breaks a couple of tackles, and he'll gain about 6.
Dan Hooks saying, let's play conservative, smart but conservative. Keep the ball on the ground. Let's get it out of trouble. And if we get a chance, great. But if we don't, that's okay, too. If we go up by 7 in the half, that's the best that we can do. That's okay.
Goes with the quick count that time, and it worked to a 6-yard gain. 2nd down and 4 now for the Mustangs from the 9. And again, the tight backfield in there. 2 tight ends for West Orange Stark. Handoff goes to Brown. Not a whole lot there as he breaks the 10-yard line. It'll be 3rd down for the Mustangs.
But the point is the clock continues to run.
Inside 50 seconds to play now and counting. Still 2 timeouts left for Rockwall, but apparently they're not going to use them. You'd have thought maybe they'd have put one on the board right now, hoping to hold and get the punt.
Talk a lot about West Orange Stark's defense, but Rockwall's defense has played to their potential as well. They have only, the highest point total of the year was 35 points to Sulphur Springs earlier in the season.
3rd down and 2. Handoff to the right back. That was Brown, but flags all over the place. Maybe a little motion again by the Mustangs.
Of course, that will stop the clock with 14 seconds showing. It's going to be against the Mustangs. As you mentioned, there was a motion problem.
14 seconds left in the half, and what a beautiful day this has turned out to be, Dan. What a shocker.
If you'd have told me at 11 o'clock this morning that we'd be looking out on Kyle Field and have the kind of sunshine we've got this afternoon, if you'd have told Troy Miller that 2.5 hours ago, he would have told you you're crazy. He was worried about how his team was going to have to perform in the rain.
How they were going to perform. Some people were talking about maybe a possible suspension of the game for a while. We were wondering whether or not they'd even get this thing started at the 2 o'clock time, because the rain at one point, and this is no exaggeration whatsoever, folks, believe me, was so heavy you could not see past the stands here.
Let's take a listen to some of the coaching instructions. Troy Miller said, as soon as the play is complete, you call a timeout because it's a 3rd down situation. It brings up a 4th. You've got 14 seconds on the clock. You get it stopped with 10. You got one more shot at trying to get the ball into the end zone before the half ends. Okay, now what he's trying to do is give his defensive instructions. He's calling him to read, and that he wants a quick timeout as soon as the ball is down.
Well, let's see how the Mustangs will counter on this. It's a 3rd and 7.
Of course, it would force them to punt out of the end zone as well.
You sure don't want to make a mistake down here on this play. 3rd and 7. Lewis takes the sneak again. And forget it, the timeout is called quickly with 10 seconds left in the half, so Rockwall will get a possible shot at another score here, depending on how much time obviously is run down during the punt.
Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look at the Rockwall marching band and drill teams, as well as the West Orange Stark Mustang band.
Both of them